What's going on, guys? My name's Danny and I have a 2018 F150 XLT 302A package, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get one of these bad boys in the dash using a Retro Customz iPad mini dash conversion, as well as a couple other things you need to purchase. So read a lot, did a lot of research, and ultimately the biggest drawback is not having the automatic AC controls. But there is ways to go around that. I'm going to show you step by step how to do that and what to purchase. So stay tuned. Okay, so step one, if you haven't already done this, is go over to Amazon.com and pick you up one of these OBD2 to USB wires that works with the ForScan software. And then you'll go into the ForScan software and go and add this ability to put climate control on the dash. So once you have that, you'll see obviously it displays on the screen, but it does not function. And why doesn't it function? Because on an XLT you don't have the dual zone automatic climate controls. Now obviously the only way to add that is to purchase the AC unit. Now typically it is expensive. I was lucky enough to find an entire center stack out of I believe it's a Platinum, but anything 502A Lariat, Platinum, Limited, look around on eBay, online, you'll find them out of salvage vehicles. But that's definitely going to be your next step, is to get these AC controls to work, because obviously these buttons are going to go and you'll have no way to control your air conditioning. I heard rumors that you do lose the heated seat function because it operates differently on the automatic controls versus what you see here. I'm going to try that out. I haven't confirmed it yet. But I guess we'll find out. So next step is going to be to remove this panel out of the vehicle and start the disassembly. Okay, so removing this front panel is pretty easy. You're going to pop this upper tray up, and then you got two 7mm bolts right there and there. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out. Okay, so once the screws are out, you will pull up here, and also pull down here and down here, and this whole face should just kind of pop out like this. Then you'll have a couple harnesses back here you'll have to disconnect, which I can't hold the phone and do that at the same time, so be right back. Now before we get too excited, I went ahead and plugged in the new upper trim level dash panel. You can see it's auto, dual zone. Got the heated and cooled seats, which obviously I don't have the cool seats. Dual zone will not work from what I understand, because there's some kind of mechanical mechanism that's inside the air conditioner that this truck obviously just does not have. I did hear that the automatic air conditioner does work. So let's give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, turned on. Let's start. Oh shit, look at that. AC is now working on the touchscreen, and so is temperature. Very cool. All right, so now we 100% can confirm that just with a swap down here, you are able to have touchscreen controls for the AC on the dashboard of an XLT. Go away. So there you have it. So now we can proceed with our installation. Okay, so this is what we're working with now. This is our factory dash piece. This is the donor AC control dash piece. And this is going to be our new Retro Customz iPad dash piece. Big shout out to Retro Customz. I mean, the finish on this thing is damn near perfect. It looks like a factory OEM part. They give you everything you need, including some material to put in here so your iPad doesn't get all scratched. And they even give you an Apple branded lightning cable. You know, no knockoff. This is a legit Apple part. Of course, all the instructions are on their website. It's pretty easy if you're mechanically savvy. It's not, you know, anything too crazy. But ultimately, we're going to be taking these switches, these AC controls, and transferring them over to here. Now, It says in the instructions that you have to, I've already removed it, but you have to remove this black plastic cover that came off here, and you have to trim it a little bit. Again, that's in the instructions on where exactly to trim it, but you trim about 3/4 of an inch of plastic off of that. So we're going to take that outside and use it later. Next step is going to be to pull out this circuit board, a couple screws in there. Ultimately too, it said in the instructions that you're going to keep 6 of your shortest screws that came out of this unit, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be these guys in here because the other ones were pretty long. I'll report back on that. So let's do this. I can't obviously film and work at the same time, so be right back. Okay, I now have all the screws removed, and the circuit board assembly should come out like that. The lights, and we're going to be placing it in there. Also too, you got to go ahead and remove the main AC controls out of our donor unit, and you're going to transfer them over here before you mount the circuit board. I also added a little foam pad here to protect the upper circuit board because I noticed there was a little bit of a gap there, and I don't want to risk any kind of vibration or rattling. So let me go ahead and get this in there, get the circuit board in there, and we'll continue. Now before we put the screws in, let me touch on this real quick. According to Retro Customz, now this is right on their directions, we're only going to put in the circled screws. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's 6 total in the areas they have circled. It's very important. Also, another thing I kind of want to point out is get all the screws started first. Don't put one in and snug it all the way and move on to the next. Get all of them started first and then snug each one a little as you go. You know, start up here, maybe move down here, move up here, move over here, move down there, kind of like you're doing lug nuts on a wheel or something. But yeah. Okay, now that all my screws are back in their new homes, went ahead and snugged everything down. And, you know, you don't want to tighten it down too much. You just want to kind of snug them more and more, each one by one, until it's nice and tight. Also, you need to transfer the rest of these orange clips over from your donor right here. Came off of there and put them on there. But okay, so I already went ahead and put down the felt liner, which is provided. Also mounted my iPad on the other side, and I plugged in the lightning cable. Now I have to go to the store and get some 2-part epoxy to weld this cable in place before we put it back into the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll get this thing back in the vehicle. We have to make a few modifications inside the vehicle, but we're almost there. We're on the home stretch. Okay, so back in the truck, these are one of the items you need to modify once you're back in here to run the cable. You need to pry out your factory USB. It's a little tricky, but it'll come out. And you need to make a little gap right there for the cable. Because once you snake it through and put this back so it doesn't, you know, harm the wire or anything like that. So okay, so I might have gone a little bit overboard with the JB Weld epoxy, but as you can see, you want a nice tight bond because essentially this is going to be what's holding in the iPad is the lightning cable. So put as much in there as you can without actually touching the iPad. As you can see, I got pretty close, but something tells me that cable's not going anywhere. Alright, so I have to speed this up a little bit. I'm running out of daylight, but as far as running the lightning cable goes, you have to take out this lower unit that used to go right there. Obviously keep your kit in close proximity, run the line through that little hole right there, drip it down, and if you stick your fingers through there and your hand back in this hole in there, you'll be able to fish it out. But it is a little tricky, but you can get it eventually. But as far as wiring goes, that's what you gotta do. Okay, so wrapping up the installation here. I finished everything last night, ran out of daylight, so I decided to shoot this today. But as you can see, fit and finish is amazing. Big shout out to Retro Customz for actually producing this. You definitely saved me a lot of time on installation. So you can get one for yourself at retrocustomz.com. It's compatible with any generation of iPad mini 1 through 4. Which is pretty neat. But yeah, functionality on the iPad's pretty awesome. Obviously, got Spotify going here. I can go over here, hit my Xfinity app. Boom, got live TV going on right in the dash. Just pretty badass. Of course, you got Netflix too, which is also cool. Everything still functions up top just like it did from the factory. Added the AC controls, which obviously you need that, but other than that, she's pretty cool. Highly recommend this. I'm super happy with it. Of course, the functionality and the wow factor is just there. So that'll do it.